Hey, if you remember in the last lesson we were creating a sketch and this would be the result. The next step will be adding a base color. How? Well, we'll create another layer and place it under the main sketch. Then, with the eyedropper tool, we'll select a blue shade to distinguish the image from the background and which is similar to the image we are using. Then, we are going to use this to select the colors we'll be using for our mermaid. Are you ready? What I'm doing now is basically coloring the figure with a base color. Let's zoom it so that we can delete the extra color outside the figure. The method I use for coloring is a singular one because what I do is grouping all the layers in one and using this new layer to delete and modify the color. Obviously, there are other options, and if you prefer to draw a clean outline first and then color it, it's also okay. For this, you would only need to take into account what we learned before about anatomy. So, I do it in my way and you can choose wherever you want to. What I'm going to do is deleting color and adding color where it's necessary. This will be very helpful when selecting the parts without coloring outside the drawing. Let's use now a darker tone to apply the shadows and create volume in the illustration. In this case, the light direction will go from top to bottom. Thus, the brightest areas would be those closer to the light. As a consequence, we'll be adding shades in the eyelids, under the nose, the part of the neck covered by the hair, under the arm, and so on. I think it would be really cool if I used the colors of the fish on the image to create special effects in the mermaid. That's why I'll be creative when coloring the eyes and I'll use the color palette of the fish to create special effects. So, I'll use a red tone for the outside of the eye and colored yellow for the pupil. Now, I'll be adding other colors that I'll blur afterwards with another brush. As you can see, we need to keep in mind the color and design of the fish. For example, in this one, the bottom of the fish has orange tones while the rest of its body is blue. And I need to bear this in mind. Why? Well, there are some characteristics that I don't want to ignore, like the teeth or the eyes. It is keeping all these characteristics and peculiarities in our drawings really important to make it special. So I'm coloring the part of the chest and the stomach in orange and the backside in blue. Apart from these two colors, I think I'll be using a greenish blue one for certain areas. So guys, just a matter of playing around with the different colors and tones that we can get thanks to the eyedropper. I'm using now a light blue to light up these areas over here. Okay guys, it's true that it's not a really clean illustration, I'm sorry for that, but I think it has the main characteristics and elements that I wanted you to consider and learn, which are the upper human side and the fish part. It has it. Also, we have used the eyedropper tool, right, for the color, and we have grouped together all the layers and work with a single layer. So, once the sketch is finished, what we've done is establishing a set of colors and applying them, which we'll be modifying in the following lesson. Then, in the next lesson, we're going to learn about specific details which will help us complete the illustration. These are like applying filters, multiplying, overlaying, screening, etc. All these will improve our drawing. make it more beautiful, aesthetic, better, in my opinion. And it's also possible that you don't like the colors you're using. If this happens, don't worry at all. You are completely free to modify them. As you can see, this step is all about coloring the areas. It's not very difficult. So if you don't want to color outside the lines established by the color of the base, what you can do is select the miniature by hovering over it, then pressing Ctrl and then clicking on it. By doing this, you'll find a kind of a screen around the drawing and you can use to color on it without painting outside. Well guys, improvising is also my thing, as you can see, so I'll be changing things throughout the process, although I promise not to alter it too much. For example, I painted the lips with a whiter tone, but I think they look better with a darker one, so I changed it. Later, I'll be paying more attention to other details like making the teeth sharper or adding scales, which are necessary for a fish, right? Right now, I'll focus on the mermaid, and at the end I'll be working with the fishes, since pay attention to them right now would rather disturb us than help us. So, for the moment, it's better to focus on the mermaid and creating the lighting effects, like adding lighter colors, for instance. If you're using this blue tone, you could turn to a color green or purple and try to avoid whiter and brighter tones or those with dark shades. Please, don't do that. Lighting effects using these tones are a huge mistake. Okay, the white ones could be used in a particular case, but please, dark tones under no circumstances, please. So, this is what we've done until now. We've been coloring and adding color spots to the sketch in this lesson, and in the next one we'll be adding details and perfecting the colors. So, hope that your sketch is going really well and see you then!